Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is the greatest salute to India's diversity and harmony, a clear and unambiguous vindication of our nation as a model of coexistence. The chief of the Muslim World League, one of the top voices in the community, has hailed India's democracy and constitution, which has taught harmony to the world. Yesterday, the Saudi Arabian scholar met with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where they exchanged views on interfaith dialogue and promoting global peace. After meeting the Prime Minister, his endorsement is significant. Remember, it comes on the back of several opposition leaders led by Rahul Gandhi and Asaduddin Owaisi, who say that minorities in India are under attack. They have repeatedly said that democracy has probably died in India. This endorsement of India's democracy and diversity by a leading voice of the Muslim community has blunted the Islamophobia charge on the Modi-led government. Listen in to Sheikh Al-Isa detailing in black and white how Indian philosophy and tradition has taught harmony to the world.
लेकिन मैं दिल की गहराइयों से हिंदुस्तान, हिंदुस्तानी जमहूरियत और हिंदुस्तानी आईन, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया को तहे दिल से सलाम करता हूं.
Not just that, even yesterday, Sheikh Al-Isa called India a model of coexistence. Listen in again to the Secretary General of the Muslim World League.
We know that the Indian components, with all its diversity, is a great model for coexistence, not only in just mere words, but also on the ground. And we appreciate all the efforts and steps taken in this regard. And we know that the Muslim component in the Indian society is also a very important component. And it's Muslim components in the Indian society, they are proud of their nationality, that they are Indian national.
In fact, let's remind you how opposition leaders like Owaisi once claimed that Hindutva Vadis attack Muslims to feel grand. Mehbooba Mufti spoke of rising Islamophobia, while the left claimed that religious tolerance is declining under the Modi Sarkar. Also watch how Rahul Gandhi led the Islamophobia attack, which resounded in the secular echo chambers of the opposition. So-called secular. This is what Rahul Gandhi had said during his visit to the United States of America just a few weeks ago.
It is felt most strongly by the Muslim community, okay, because it is done most directly to them. But in fact, it is being done to all minorities. I can guarantee you that the same way you are feeling attacked, I can guarantee you my Sikh brothers are feeling the same thing. I can guarantee you my Christian brothers are feeling the same, sisters are feeling the same thing, right? I can guarantee you the Dalit community is feeling the same thing, tribal community is feeling the same thing. You cannot cut hatred with hatred. It's impossible.
But if Muslims were being targeted in India, would they want to leave Islamic nations and flock to India? Would India have the second largest Muslim population in the world? As per the government, over 1,500 Pakistani migrants and 391 Afghanistani migrants of all religions have been granted Indian citizenship from 2016 to 2018 alone. 600 Muslims were granted citizenship in India between 2014 and 2019. Not just that, the world over, 5 top honors have been given by the Muslim world to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Would they do that if Modi and his credentials were doubtful? That is the question that we're asking on the NewsHour tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question, Islamophobia bogey, is it derailing as the world shows a mirror to India and opposition? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the NewsHour at 9, debate number 1, on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Gaurav Bhatia, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate, Sanjay Jha, author, supports also suspended Congress leader, Syed Asim Bakar, national spokesperson of the AIMIM, Abbas Haider, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Also joining me tonight, Asif Sohail, political analyst. But my first question goes to Dr. Sanjay Jha. Dr. Sanjay Jha, Muslims are being treated really badly in this country. Yet the Muslim world is flocking to India and giving India raving reviews of the way the constitution as well as democracy is functioning in India. Do you want to say that these people are carrying Prime Minister Modi's brief, or they are part of the PR machinery of the BJP? Because it's not just the Muslim League, the World Muslim League Secretary General Ali Issa, who's in India right now. It's also about Saudi Arabia, where the Prime Minister has met several times. Egypt President who met Prime Minister recently. In fact, he's going to be in the UAE just 3 days from now. Would you think that everybody is rolling out the red carpet for India because they think India is a place where democracy is in peril and Muslims are being treated badly?
Navika, good evening. I think it's a pertinent question you have raised, because obviously these are heads of state who have made this statement. But here is the reality check for Mr. Modi's government. And I want to address your question in detail. I won't take too long. But on record, I need to say this. If any political party or government in India has practiced divide and rule between religious communities inspired by the British policy of divide and rule, it is the Bharatiya Janata Party. This is also a party that is inherently fascist, and therefore it always looks at creating an us versus them conversation. Now, you mentioned Saudi Arabia, and I want to do a rewind of exactly what Saudi Arabia said about India a year ago. These are the words, by the way, of the Saudi Arabian government to Mr. Modi's government. It described BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma's comments as insulting and called for respect for beliefs and religions according to their foreign ministry. The entire OIC, by the way, comprising of Bahrain and Qatar and Kuwait, etc., called the Indian ambassadors to their foreign ministry to say, kindly issue a public apology for the way you have insulted the Prophet. Now, that's just one example for you. The real point, Navika, that we need to understand, that all foreign governments will indulge in this trope whenever they are visiting your country or when Mr. Modi or anybody else visits their country. But please remember that the Indian ambassadors were called by the different countries in the Middle East and the Arab world.
And Dr. Sanjay Jha, you're the proponent. You are the proponent of the one swallow summer theory that you have preached to us on several occasions, and today you're picking up that one instance yourself. But let me get in Mr. Gaurav Bhatia. Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, is Al Issa, the Secretary General of the World Muslim League, also a head of state who's just indulging India and the Prime Minister? Is that really something that you would believe as Dr. Sanjay Jha is explaining it?
Navika, first of all, I think it is another proud moment for every Indian, irrespective of our ideologies, the differences that we might have. I would only say it's a burn-all moment for people like Sanjay Jha, Rahul Gandhi, Mamta Banerjee, Mehbooba Mufti, Omar Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah, Owaisi, Akhilesh Yadav. And the reason is very simple. We all know how India is flourishing and all the leaders of the world are praising the leadership of Narendra Modi ji. But more importantly, they are recognizing the power of our country. So that is why we are proud. And I think it is again a proud moment for the words that have been used by Dr. Mohammed bin Abdul Karim Al Issa. What did he say? I noted down. He said, I salute Indian democracy. Now, pause for a moment, contrast this with what Rahul Gandhi said. Rahul Gandhi on foreign soil said democracy in India is dead. Imagine a member of parliament saying democracy is dead, but a very important person who heads the Muslim World League says that I salute Indian democracy. The second point, he said salute the philosophy and tradition that teach harmony to the world. And now pause for a moment. What did Rahul Gandhi say? Rahul Gandhi said that Muslim and minorities in India are in danger. And he said, मिट्टी का तेल लेकर लोग घूमते हैं. ये बताना भूल गए कि मिट्टी के तेल का कैन गांधी परिवार ही लेके घूमता है कि आग लगा दो इंडिया में, किसी तरह से राइट्स हो जाए. Now, a very important point was raised by you, Navika. I'll just take it forward. That all these countries who are Islamic in nature, who believe in Islam, have conferred the highest civilian award on Shri Narendra Modi ji. And the list is Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, UAE, Bahrain, Palestine, Egypt, Maldives. 7 nations. If Narendra Modi ji hated the Muslims especially so much, why are these Islamic countries conferring their highest civilian award, which is again a record? No other past prime minister has been recognized by so many Islamic countries. This again shows that all the Islamic countries believe that India's democracy is thriving and is becoming stronger by the day, and the Indian Muslims as well as the Indian citizens are the ones who are exercising their rights in a free democracy. This is what the Congress party can't see. The third very important point, if you permit me, I'll make, and I'll end my comment. You remember in 2019, OIC, Organization for Islamic Cooperation, it has 57 members. Do you know which country it invited as guest of honor? India, under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji. Contrast this with 1969, when Congress party was in power. The then minister, industry minister, was invited, but at the 11th hour he was told to go back. Why? Something has changed. India's strength has increased. We are talking to the world from a position of strength, and Shri Narendra Modi ji today is the tallest leader in the world.
Well, Sanjay Jha is raising his hand, and he's continuously raising his hand. Which part do you not agree with, Sanjay Jha, before I get the others in? The question here is, you keep calling Narendra Modi as a baiter of the Muslim population in India, as somebody who's, dog whistling this community all the time. I'm just asking you a simple question. Why would these leaders, and certainly Al Issa is no head of state. He is the Secretary General of the World Muslim League. He's not a head of state. So I'm asking you, what are they seeing that you just can't really see with or without your glasses?
Well, Navika, can I remind everybody here, they can Google it as I speak, about what India's own Supreme Court had to say about Mr. Modi's government on hate speech, on religious freedoms being compromised. I mean, the language which the Supreme Court had to use was what is happening to our great country. And the BJP was clueless. They have no answers. Dharam Sampat's, Sansad's calling for open genocide in India. This is unprecedented. And it happened, right? And we all know that Mr. Modi's government has turned a blind eye.
From Sanjay Jha?
Just a minute.
No, which judgment? His question is which judgment?
Supreme Court are you quoting?
Well, if you want, I can do it right now. It'll embarrass you.
Quoting from?
It'll embarrass you. I mean, you're scoring a self-goal.
No, it will not. It will embarrass you for the lies that you are spreading.
Go to Google and say Supreme Court and hate speech, and you'll probably leave the show, Gaurav Bhatia.
I don't believe in Google. I have a Supreme Court judgment software.
Navika, I don't want to answer
You belong to the WhatsApp University and Google.
Can we talk about the link?
Why not? Navika, if he's casting aspersions on an elected prime
Well,
minister,
the point is, we can argue this till the cows come home. You know, there are enough observations made on all political party, and observations are not judgments, Sanjay Jha. The point is also, the point of the debate today is not what the Supreme Court said then, because that was debated then, but what is happening today with the Prime Minister being feted in Egypt, the Prime Minister meeting the Mufti in Egypt, the Prime Minister receiving Al Isa here, the Maldives President is here, the Prime Minister slated to go to the UAE, and all the honors that have been bestowed in him. I'm only merely asking a question, but let me also play out for you Asaduddin Owaisi, the AIMIM Supremo, who today made this statement, because he's coined a new terminology. Any Muslim who supports the Prime Minister is a Sarkari Muslim. Listen in to Asaduddin Owaisi.
ये यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड से सबसे ज्यादा अगर तकलीफ होगी तो हमारे हिंदू भाइयों को होगी। आरएसएस ये समझ रही है कि मुल्ला जी को निशाना बनाएंगे, तो भाई साहब आप हमारे नाम पे किसी और का नुकसान कर रहे हैं। आप नरेंद्र मोदी कहां से आ रहे हैं? दिखा तो रहे हैं कि मुसलमान को सबक सिखाएंगे, मगर नुकसान देश का होने वाला है। और जो लोग आज नरेंद्र मोदी के इशारों पर कठपुतली बनकर नाच रहे, मैं तुमको सरकारी मुसलमान को कहता हूं, याद रखो, शरीयत रास्ता है, तरीकत मंजिल है। शरीयत पर कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं किया जा सकता। बिल्कुल, मेरे लिए दुआ करना भाई, गुनाहगार हूं। दुआ ये करना कि अल्लाह ज़बान में और तेजाबी दे।
तो मैं असीम वकार साहब आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ, एक तो ये बता दीजिए कि सरकारी मुसलमान कौन है, और अल ईसा साहब जो हैं ये सरकारी मुसलमान हैं या नहीं। और दूसरी तरफ अगर असदुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब अल्लाह से मांग रहे हैं कि उनकी जबान पर और तेजाब आए, तो ये भड़काऊ भाषण नहीं है, ये हेट स्पीच नहीं है।
देखिए, मैं बहुत देर से बहस सुन रहा हूं आपकी। ये हैं कौन साहब? मैं तो पहली बार इनको देख रहा हूं। जब आप लोगों ने डिबेट रखी तो मैंने सर्च किया तो मालूम पड़ा ये एक एनजीओ हैं। एनजीओ जैसे आरएसएस है वैसे ही ये हैं। भारत में आरएसएस का वर्चस्व ज्यादा है, लेकिन अरब में इनका वर्चस्व बिल्कुल नहीं है। कुछ लोग होते हैं आंखों के अंधे, पैदाइशी भी होते हैं, कभी कभी मोतियाबिंद हो जाता है, तो जो आंख के अंधे होते हैं उनको दिखता नहीं है बेचारों को कि हरा हरा लाल नीला पीला कुछ भी कह देते हैं वो। और कुछ लोग होते हैं अकल के अंधे, तो जो अकल के अंधे होते हैं उन्हें हरा रंग दिखता तो है, लेकिन उनको समझ में नहीं आता करें क्या। उनके कान भी बहरे हो जाते हैं अकल के अंधों के, उनकी अकल भी उल्टी हो जाती है। अब पता नहीं क्या है, क्या मामला है। ये जो आए थे साहब, इनका तो मैं नाम भी नहीं जानता कौन साहब हैं। इन्हीं ने गुजरात नहीं गए है, इन्होंने गुजरात में काम नहीं किया 2002 के बाद से। हैं जरूर ये मुस्लिम वर्ल्ड लीग, लेकिन इन्हीं ने अपनी वर्ल्ड लीग ट्विटर पे तो बना दी है, लेकिन इन्हीं ने कहीं उस जगह काम ही नहीं किया जहां मुसलमानों पे जुल्म और ज्यादती हुए। इनको एक दुकान खुलवा दीजिए, यहां ईसा साहब को एक दुकान खुलवा दीजिए गोश्त की, या इनको ईसा साहब को भेज दीजिए पुरोला उत्तरकाशी, या ईसा साहब की बच्ची का एडमिशन करा दीजिए स्कूल में और कहिए नकाब पहन के जाओ, तो ईसा साहब को पूरी हैसियत और हकीकत समझ में आ जाएगी। या ईसा साहब को गिरिराज सिंह से मिलवा दीजिए, जब वो सुबह से शाम तक गिरिराज सिंह इनके 5 बार आई कार्ड चेक करेंगे, इनके बाप का नाम चेक करेंगे, इनके दादा का पुश्तैनी मकान के पेपर चेक करेंगे, वो कहेंगे आप यहां के हैं, कहां के हैं। तब इनसे पूछिएगा ये हैं कौन।
चलिए अब
एक
ये है
एनजीओ को आप लोग सिर्फ इसलिए इतनी तरजीह दे रहे हैं, नहीं इसलिए तरजीह दे रहे हैं कि वो एनजीओ यहाँ, अब कोई मकसद रहा होगा, अब सरकार से अगर सरकार की गलत कामों की तारीफ कर रहे हैं या सरकार के खराब कामों की तारीफ कोई कर रहा है तो कोई ना कोई तो मकसद उसके पीछे है।
गौरव भाटिया जी,
एनजीओ जो होता है उसका
एनजीओ है, आरएसएस बड़ा है और अल ईसा साहब का वर्ल्ड मुस्लिम लीग छोटा है। ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ आर्ग्यूमेंट्स गिवन बाय असीम वकार साहब, प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड।
नहीं, इसके अलावा बहुत सी चीजें और कही, एक लाइन और बोलूं गौरव भाई, बाद में बोल दीजिएगा। ईसा साहब यहाँ आए, एनजीओ है, उनको प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इतनी तरजीह दे दी, आप लोग चलाने लगे, बड़ा जैसे लगा आपको बड़ा काम हो गया। मोहन भागवत को सऊदी अरब भेज दीजिए, देखिए किंग सलमान वहां मिलते हैं इनसे, सब ऐसे सामने आ जाएगी।
चलिए अब मैं उत्तर दे दूं, अब बोल लिया, भड़ास निकल गई, अब मैं बोल लेता। देखिए नाविका जी, इन्होंने कहा मोतियाबिंद, मोतियाबिंद का तो इलाज है, मोदियाबिंद का इलाज नहीं है। अगर इनके सामने सूर्य अपना प्रकाश भी देगा, जैसे मोदी जी का प्रकाश पूरा विश्व देख रहा है, इनको अंधेरा ही दिखाई देगा, नफरत का अंधेरा है ना, मोदियाबिंद है। और जब ओवैसी जी ये कहते हैं सरकारी मुसलमान, तो मैं भी उनको कहूंगा ये रजाकारी मुसलमान है। ये भारतीय मुसलमान नहीं है, ये रजाकारी मुसलमान है, सरकारी भी नहीं है। अगर कोई मुसलमान अपने देश से प्यार करता है और कोई विदेशी आता है, वो ये एनजीओ बता रहे हैं उनको, इनको ये पता नहीं है कि जिसका वो रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं वो कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट मुख्य एजेंसी है। लेकिन मान लीजिए एक विदेशी आके तारीफ करता है आपके प्रधानमंत्री जी की, आपको दर्द क्यों होता है बताइए? आप कहते हैं ना कि आई कार्ड 6 बार देखा जाएगा, नहीं, डॉक्टर अब्दुल कलाम राष्ट्रपति बने, इसी देश के बने, राइफलमैन औरंगजेब इसी देश का है, आईडी देखा नहीं गया। हाँ, जिसके जनाजे पे आप जाते हैं, आतंकवादियों के साथ खड़े होते हैं, याकूब मेमन के लिए कहते हैं कि सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने जो आदेश दिया है वो हत्या है, तो बिल्कुल आई कार्ड चेक होगा। और नाविका जी, ये वो पार्टी है जिसके नाम में मुस्लिमीन आता है, लेकिन इनको मुसलमानों की चिंता नहीं है। ये वो पार्टी है जिनके मुखिया कहते हैं कि संसद में मुसलमानों की बर्बादी के कानून बनते हैं। मैं इतना ही कहूंगा, बरनौल लगाइए, धुआं ही धुआं है आज आपके हेडक्वार्टर में, जैसे कांग्रेस के है।
Anand Ranganathan, now the credentials of Al Issa have been questioned. It's an NGO. And Al Issa is a secretary general of an NGO जो गूगल पे भी असीम वकार साहब को नहीं मिला. Now that is how you belittle the honor to the Prime Minister, and that is how you completely distance yourself from the Sarkari Muslimans.
To
and,
India.
Yeah, and
India, democracy.
Well, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, so who is Al Issa? Is he an inconsequential visitor to India?
Good evening, Navika. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Look, there are 2 points before I start on the main thrust of my thesis. Number one, Papua New Guinea या Western Samoa Island जैसी छोटी कंट्री, with due respect, वहाँ का कोई छोटा NGO अगर मोदी को क्रिटिसाइज करे, उस चिरकुट को ये भगवान बना देंगे। लेकिन वर्ल्ड मुस्लिम लीग के शेख अल ईसा कुछ कह रहे हैं प्रेज में, तो कह रहे हैं ये तो कोई छोटी मोटी सी चीज है। एंड बाय द वे, लेट मी टेल यू, 4 years ago Mr. Owaisi had called those Muslims who voted for Modi not just Sarkari Muslims, he's called them eunuchs. This is the state of the polity in our country. Whoever supports something progress, something development, something that Modi is doing for everyone is called a eunuch. But now let me just give me a couple of minutes, because I've been waiting very patiently and listening to everyone here. Look, in one stroke, Navika, Sheikh Al-Nisa has exposed the fake propaganda of the Congress and the left and AIMM that Modi is anti-Muslim. What the BJP couldn't do in 9 years, Al-Nisa has done in 9 minutes. Fact is The Congress is a master at deception, while the BJP is a disaster at perception. Here is the hard data. After all, we need to go in order to determine whether Modi is pro-Muslim or anti-Muslim. You need data at hand. So here is that hard data. Minorities before 2014, 20,000 skill trained, 5% with government jobs, 3 crore scholarships, 70% girls school dropout rate. Minorities after 2014, 2 million skill trained, 10% with government jobs, 5 crore scholarships, free UPSC coaching, 30% girls school dropout rate. In fact, Modi has given scholarships to more Muslims than Manmohan Singh did. 2.37 crore versus 2.33 crore. Sanjay, I did not interrupt you. This is very unfair. No. No, Navika,
why was
this is
Narendra Modi denied the US visa? Just answer that question.
No, because how is that related to what Narendra Modi has done? You are still you are.
I'm asking you a simple
Navika,
question.
see, this is very unfair.
All right, Sanjay Jha, allow him to complete his point, and then you can raise your questions. Allow him to complete his point.
I had to sit through 7 minutes of Sanjay Jha's illogical and irrational arguments, but I did not, squeak even one murmur. Please, Sanjay, have some patience. Please listen to logic and rationale. It will help you. Look, while our Muslim population... No, Sanjay, please, you're a good friend, please. Look, Navika, while our Muslim population is 14.2%, as many as 31.3% of homes under Awas Yojana, 33% of funds under Kisan Samman Nidhi, 36% beneficiaries under Mudra Yojana have been Muslims. Pradhan Mantri Shadi Shagun scheme bhi hai, exclusively for Muslim girls who complete their graduation before marriage. They will get rupees 15,000, 51,000 in fact. Housing, skilling, scholarships, government jobs. I say it with complete responsibility. No other Prime Minister has comparatively done more for Muslims than Modi. No other Prime Minister. So thank you, Sheikh Al-Nisa, for exposing this fake propaganda. What the BJP could not do in 9 years, you have done in 9 minutes.
Well, Ali, let me get in Abbas Haider. Abbas Haider, Asim Sahab कहते हैं he's just an NGO head. Well, let me tell you, it's not just an NGO. This NGO is located in Makkah, the sacred place for all Muslims. I bet you also believe that. He is widely known as a voice of moderation, and Saudi Arabia in the past has been criticized for the propagation of Wahhabi Islam. But Ali Isa is known to be a moderate voice who has taken a strong line against extremism. His NGO has a presence in most countries around the world and has been in existence since 1962, my friend. And this same Mr. Sheikh Al Isa has been the Minister for Law and Justice, in Saudi Arabia till he became the Secretary General. So, Abbas Haider, to just say, तो फिर कह दीजिए कि वो जो प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इजिप्ट है वो भी कोई खास बड़े नहीं है, वो ऐसे ही कहते हैं लोग मोदी जी को. यूएई भी जा रहे हैं, वो कोई खास बड़ी बात नहीं है, ये लोग ऐसे ही कहते रहते हैं. लेकिन पापुआ न्यू गिनी और एनी स्मॉल कंट्री वो कुछ खिलाफ कह दे तो आप लोग सब खड़े हो जाते हैं. Are you actually only looking for a reason to somehow bring down the name of the Prime Minister, or are facts completely something that you don't look at?
Navika ji, first of all, it's not just an NGO, it's a Saudi-funded NGO. And I don't know what is the reason that our government is so desperate to get statements from foreign leaders, NGOs, even a deputy secretary from the White House. They need to get validation from a deputy secretary of White House. See, for us, we respect our Prime Minister. We are the biggest democracy of the world, and people who are coming from a monarchy, they don't need to lecture us on democracy. Neither the US or any other country in the world. I truly believe this. But, it is quite painful when somebody who is, who tries to impersonate somebody else is putting a tweet on Twitter, and that has been retweeted by the Chief Minister of UP, and a person who has been accused in a criminal case in Hyderabad. This is what BJP do. They actually does not believe in the Indian democracy at all. Because if they would have believed, they would have not, trying to showcase such statement, such fancy statement, because I truly believe when Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, has said that freedom of religion does not prevail in India, I don't believe in such statement. Yes, that is true. I am an Indian. I can say that because I encounter such things every day as a citizen. But if a foreign citizen raises finger on my country, I'll stand with my country. I'll stand with my government.
बड़ी दिक्कत है अब्बास हैदर साहब आपके साथ। इंडियंस को आप बिलीव नहीं करेंगे, प्रधानमंत्री को आप बिलीव नहीं करेंगे, भारत में अगर कहा जाए नंबर्स डेटा को आप बिलीव नहीं करेंगे, फॉरेनर्स बोलेंगे तो आपको तकलीफ हो जाएगी। भैया आपको खुश करने के लिए करें तो करे क्या, करें तो करे क्या? ईश्वरन भंडारी, who will they believe? I think if God descends on earth, they will not believe God also, because they have decided, they have made up their mind that they have to criticize Prime Minister Modi, and therefore उनका धर्म ही वो हो गया है कि हम criticize करेंगे।
Navika ji, it's a question to me, sir. Navika ji, it's a question to me. You had your turn. Can I speak now? It's a question to me. Let me speak. Let us have some order here.
Okay, Abbas Haider. Ishkaran is responding to all your concerns. आप सरकारी मुसलमान नहीं हैं, आप ओवैसी जी के दोस्त हैं, समझ गए। अब ईश्वरन भंडारी।
नाविका जी, ये 14 और 19 के बाद, नाविका जी ये 14 और 19, नाविका यू कैन लोअर द फीडर। नाविका जी 14 और 19 के बाद आजकल इलेक्शन रिजल्ट नहीं माने, उसमें बोलते हैं ईवीएम खराब है, तो ये क्या मानेंगे? बट ऑन अ सीरियस नोट, व्हाट योर डिबेट इज Islamophobia bogey derail? You want a short answer? No, because Islamophobia bogey cannot be derailed by facts, because the entire narrative is not dependent on facts. The entire narrative of Islamophobia is a beautifully carved out strategy in which you play the victimhood to corner greater and greater benefits for yourself. Now that sort of a strategy will never be demolished by facts, will never be demolished by research. And I will give you an international research. Pew Research Agency says 98% Muslims in India feel very comfortable, free to practice their religion. 2% say somewhat, 0% say no freedom. But that data will not be discussed, even though it's a deep research. Why? Because the basic aim is what Manmohan Singh said, the first right on resources belongs to a minority community. Even under this government, data after data, I won't repeat what Anand has quoted, shows more than 30-35% of various schemes going to Muslim community. This is all enabled by a logic of Islamophobia to put the government on defensive, so they keep on giving more than the share of population. But that is one part of it. The second aspect of this is every country which wants to address facts and deal with India, be it country like Saudi Arabia, UAE, Palestine, Egypt, Afghanistan, Bahrain, recognizes that there is no threat to Muslims in India. The only threat to anybody is parties like Mr. Owaisi, who rely on a Muslim vote bank. Increasingly, they are feeling threatened or marginalized. Hence this bogey of Islamophobia, after 10 awards, 100 awards, by UN Security Council approving it, UN General Assembly approving India, will never end, because the logic is not facts, the logic is vote bank and staying in power.
Well, so let me give Asif Sohail the numbers. The Economic Advisory Committee of the Prime Minister says access to electricity, well, in the 20% most poor people, Muslims get their share in electricity has gone up from 53% in 2014 to 85% in 2021. If you look at bank accounts, in the poorest of people in India, 20% poorest people, their bank accounts, which the target achievement was 73%, it was much lower than this in 2014. Also, let me tell you, apart from them, OBCs, SC, STs have also gained. Mobile phones, maximum in the poorest people, the Muslims have benefited. Access to toilets, let me tell you, the Muslim poor households have their availability and access to toilets has increased from 12% to 48%. Numbers तो आपको बिल्कुल समझने नहीं है और आप कहोगे कि इनसे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, फर्जी नंबर है। तो लेट मी टेल यू, अल ईसा साहब कह रहे हैं। अब ये अल ईसा साहब कौन है? इनको UN ने यूनिवर्सिटी फॉर पीस ने कहा था कि ही इज एन आउटस्टैंडिंग एफर्ट्स इन सपोर्टिंग इंटरनेशनल डिप्लोमेसी, प्रमोटिंग फ्रेंडशिप एंड कोऑपरेशन अमंग पीपल, एंड ही वाज अवॉर्डेड an award at a ceremony in the United Nations European headquarters in Geneva. अब ये भी आप कहेंगे कि छोटा सा एनजीओ इसको अवार्ड मिल गया यूएन से, तो क्या बात है? अगर इंडिया के बारे में अच्छा बोल रहे हैं, हाउ डज इट मैटर? Whatever facts are given to you, you will always belittle them. So who can ever convince people like you, Mr. Asif Sohail?
देखिए नाविका जी, पहले तो दो चीज़ों का मैं आपको जवाब दूंगा। एक तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर को जो अवार्ड, प्रेस्टिजियस अवार्ड दिए गए, वो उन्होंने प्राइम मिनिस्टर है बोल के दिया गया है। जब वो नरेंद्र मोदी थे उनको यूएस का वीज़ा रिजेक्ट किया गया। अब रही बात अल ईसा की, मैं भी नहीं जानता हूँ, ये यहूदियों की आवाज़ बन के जो सो मुल्क में आए हैं। मैडम सुनिए, और आज प्राइम मिनिस्टर को जरूरत पड़ रही है बाहर से लोगों को लाके एक्रेडिटेशन कराने की कि वो मुसलमानों के साथ है। देखिए पहले मणिपुर आवाज दे रहा है, मणिपुर जल रहा है, वहां नहीं जा रहे हैं। मुसलमानों को जलाया जा रहा है, उसको नहीं देख रहे हैं। और जो आप नंबर्स बता रहे हैं मैडम, कोई एहसान नहीं कर रहे हैं। ये मुल्क हमारा है, हमारा रहेगा, और हम इस बराबर हिस्सेदार है इस मुल्क के। तो जो भी हमें दिया जा रहा है, कोई भीख नहीं दी जा रही है। वी आर पार्ट ऑफ दिस नेशन एंड
लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री को अगर ऑनर मिलता है तो वो देश को मिलता है। प्रधानमंत्री को भीख मिल रही थी क्या? वो सेम लॉजिक अगर मैं करूं आनंद रंगनाथन, यू नो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एन आर्ग्यूमेंट इज दिस?
मैडम कंप्लीट करने दीजिए। आप सच्चाई,
when they are told Muslims are doing better, they say there is no data. When the data is shown to them, they say एहसान थोड़ी है हम पर, हम कोई भीख मांग रहे हैं। What kind of an argument is this?
इस पे मैं कुछ
आज मुसलमान
सच।
I'm lowering all faders. Anand Ranganathan, then coming to you, Gaurav Bhatia, Ishkaran Bhandari. Anand.
2 points. Now, suddenly the Sarkari Muslim has gone universal worldwide. He is alleging a Jewish conspiracy from a World Muslim League that originates from the heart of Islamic Mecca. He's saying यहूदियों के नाम पे आ गए ये, मतलब Jews Mecca में. There is no ending this, Navika. The point is that in having this kind of, Darawa Musalman bogey, the real persons who are discriminated against, the Hindus, their issues have been put on the back burner. As I said, this Prime Minister has done more for Muslims than for Hindus. You want to look at the real data, look at the condition of Muslims in Bengal and Muslims in Gujarat. It will be doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani. Muslims in Bengal.
Gaurav Bhatia, last comment from you.
Yeah. Navika, first of all, I want to very, humbly tell Anand, my dear friend also, he says Narendra Modi ji has done for Muslims more and Hindus less. Anand bhai, he has done a lot for every Indian. And that is the spirit. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. I must say that data was given by Anand bhai and also by Navika. But do you know, there is a couplet just written by me. I would like to read it out for these people. Out of their hatred for Modi ji, they will not even recognize the good work that is being done. And when they say that ये PM को मिला है, हाँ exactly नाविका, यही बात तो हम भी बोल रहे हैं. हमारा PM इतना योग्य है कि वो वर्ल्ड लीडर है और सारी कंट्रीज उसको अवार्ड दे रही हैं. तो आप सच्चे भारतीय होने के नाते आप कहिए कि ये बहुत खुशी का पल है आपके लिए, आप विरोध क्यों करते हैं? और कपलेट ये है, मैं भ्रष्टाचारी भैंस के आगे बीन बजाता रहा. मैं सुन लीजिए, शांत करा लीजिए नाविका जी, शांत करा लीजिए, फ्लो तोड़ देते हैं.
गो अहेड.
मैं भ्रष्टाचारी भैंस के आगे बीन बजाता चला गया, वो मजे से गांधी परिवार के भ्रष्टाचारी चने खाता चला गया.
Well,
इनका हाल क्या है? आप इनसे कोई तर्क करिए. How ridiculous it was.
Absolutely, the logic completely beats me. All Muslim nations giving awards to Prime Minister, not because he's Narendra Modi, but because he's the Prime Minister of India. बाकी जब अवार्ड्स मिलते हैं कि लोगों की शक्ल देख के दिए जाते हैं, लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री का अवार्ड उनका नहीं, देश का है. Well, either which way, which side will you believe? Shouldn't they believe that yes, this is an award for India and celebrate it? Well, that they won't. And logic defies any explanation to the position and the questions that they raise for Prime Minister Modi and his efforts to alleviate the lot of Muslims in India. Well, you can't convince them. How do you beat them? I don't know. Al-Isa and many more will probably have to speak a lot more for Indian Muslims and some representatives sitting here, some political parties sitting here, because they can't see good in just about anything that is done by Prime Minister Modi. So we'll leave it at that for now. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side,